Humanity's need for the Quran. Imagine trying to survive without food, without water, without air. How long could you last? Every human being needs nourishment to survive. Without food, the body weakens. Without water, life fades. Without air, survival is impossible. But there is one more essential need for every human being, one that is often ignored, and that is the need for spiritual nourishment, the need for the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ. And is one who was dead, and we gave him life, and made for him a light by which to walk among the people like the one who is in darkness. The Quran is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, we are bodies without soul, without ruh. The Quran is the oxygen for the soul. Think about this. You can survive days without food. You can last hours without water. You can only survive minutes without air. But what about your ruh, your soul? Without the Quran, the soul suffocates. As Allah the Almighty said, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Whoever turns away from my remembrance will have a life of hardship. Why do people feel lost, anxious, and empty? Why do we struggle with depression, stress, and lack of peace? Why do we search endlessly for happiness, yet never find it? Because we have starved our souls. We breathe air for our lungs, but we deny oxygen to our hearts. Our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, مثل الذي يذكر ربه والذي لا يذكره مثل الحي والميت. The example of the one who remembers his Lord, who remembers Allah, and the one who does not remember Allah is like the living and the dead. So the one who remembers Allah is alive, but the one who doesn't remember Allah is dead spiritually. The Quran is what keeps our hearts alive. The Quran is the water that revives the dead earth. Look at the world around you. What happens when there is no rain? When there is drought, the land becomes dry and lifeless. Crops fail and people suffer. Without water, nothing can survive. As Allah said, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. We made everything alive from water. Now, think of your qalb, think of your heart. What happens when it is deprived of the Quran? Allah the Almighty said, وَالْبَلَدُ الطَّيِّبُ يَخْرُجُ نَبَاتُهُ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ وَالَّذِي خَبُثَ لَا يَخْرُجُ إِلَّا نَكِدًا. As for the good land, its vegetation comes forth by the permission of its Lord. But as for the bad land, it yields nothing but little with difficulty. The good land is the heart filled with the Quran. It flourishes with faith, guidance, and peace. And the bad land is the heart deprived of the Quran. It dries, trapped in doubts, confusion, and emptiness. Just as rain revives the dead earth, the Quran revives the dead heart. Allah the Almighty said, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. Has the time not come for those who believe that their hearts should become humble for the remembrance of Allah and for what has been revealed of the truth? The Quran is the manual of life. from our Creator? Would you ever buy a complex machine and throw away the instruction manual? Of course not. You need to understand how it works so you can use it properly. Now think, who created you? Who designed your mind, your body, your soul, your qalb? ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. Does he who created not know while he is the subtle, the aware? Allah is the creator, and the Quran is our guide, our manual. It teaches us how to function properly. It shows us how to deal with the difficulties, the challenges, sadness and success. When people ignore the Quran, they try to fill the emptiness with money, fame, relationships, desires, addictions, but nothing satisfies the ruh, the soul or the qalbs or the hearts, except what it was created for, the remembrance of Allah. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, the hearts find rest. A man once went to a doctor saying, "Doctor, I feel weak. I feel I have no energy. I feel exhausted and lost. I've tried everything, but nothing helps." The doctor asked, "When was the last time you fed your soul, your ruh?" The man was confused. "Fed my soul?" The doctor smiled and said, "You eat food for your body, you drink water for your health, but your soul has been starving because it is missing the Quran." The man finally understood the emptiness he felt was not physical, it was spiritual emptiness. We began with a question: why do we need the Quran? Imagine trying to survive without food, without water or air. How long could you last? Now we understand the Quran is our oxygen. Without it, we spiritually suffocate. The Quran is our water. Without it, our hearts will be dry. The Quran is our manual. Without it, we malfunction. We will not know how to function properly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَمَنْ تَبِعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. Whoever follows my guidance will never be lost or suffer. So, the real question is no longer, do I need the Quran? But rather, how long can I survive without the Quran? Open the Quran, read it, live it, let it breathe life into your soul, into your heart.